In the Old West, danger lurked around every corner. But the most dangerous figures weren't always the men with six-shooters. Sometimes the deadliest people were the women who mastered survival and power in a brutal land. Welcome to Beyond the Old West. Today, we're diving beyond myths to explore the top 10 most dangerous women of the Old West. These women didn't just survive, they thrived, becoming legends in a world where each day was a fight for life or death. From notorious outlaws to sharpshooting pioneers, these women defied expectations and left an indelible mark on Wild West history. Get ready to meet the women who proved danger has no gender. Top 1. Etta Place. The mysterious outlaw. Etta Place was a woman shrouded in mystery, and her reputation in the Old West was built upon her association with the infamous Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. While little is known about her early life, her connection with these outlaws catapulted her into the annals of Wild West history. Etta was not just a companion to the notorious duo, she was an active participant in their criminal activities. The trio became infamous for robbing trains, banks, and stagecoaches, with Etta playing a pivotal role in these heists. She was known to be a calm, cool, and collected presence amidst the chaos of the Wild West, often described as having a sharp mind and quick reflexes. After Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid's infamous escape to South America, it's unclear whether Etta continued her life of crime or vanished from the spotlight entirely. Some stories claim she lived out her later years in obscurity, while others suggest she was either murdered or simply disappeared into history. Etta Place's legacy remains enigmatic, and her life continues to intrigue historians and Wild West enthusiasts alike. Her role in the most legendary outlaw duo and her role in criminal exploits make her one of the most dangerous women of the Old West. Top 2. Calamity Jane. The tough survivor. When you think of the Wild West, you often picture hardened gunslingers, outlaws, and cowboys. But among them all, there was one woman whose name stood out like a blazing fire: Calamity Jane. Known as the tough, fearless frontierswoman, Jane was no stranger to danger. In fact, she sought it out. She didn't just survive the ruthless world of the Old West. She thrived in it. Born in 1852, Martha Jane Canary, known to most as Calamity Jane, didn't have an easy life. Raised in poverty and hardship, she quickly learned the survival tactics of the frontier. But what made Jane different was her insatiable desire to prove herself. She wasn't satisfied with just surviving. She was determined to make a name for herself, to show that a woman could stand shoulder to shoulder with the toughest of men. Imagine a woman dressed in rugged clothes, a rifle slung over her shoulder, and a look in her eyes that dared anyone to challenge her. Calamity Jane was a sharpshooter, a scout, and a storyteller, her legend growing with every battle she fought and every tale she spun. She didn't just join expeditions, she led them. She was one of the few women to serve as a scout during the Indian Wars, and her courage was recognized by both soldiers and civilians alike. Wild West history tells us how she became a respected figure, loved by some and feared by others, but always unforgettable. But Jane's life wasn't just about war and survival. It was also about loyalty, heartbreak, and fierce independence. She was often seen riding beside the men of the famous Wild Bill Hickok, a friendship that turned into something more, though Jane never fully embraced the idea of settling down. Her life was a constant stream of wild adventures, and she was as comfortable fighting alongside men as she was drinking them under the table. Her story, though, is more than just one of toughness. Calamity Jane was a woman who refused to let society dictate her place. She had a sharp tongue, a strong will, and a reputation that followed her across the frontier. People feared her and respected her. But perhaps most importantly, they remembered her. Even in death, Calamity Jane's name lived on as a symbol of the wild, untamed spirit of the West. What do you think? Could a woman like Calamity Jane have thrived in today's world? Or was she truly a product of her time in Wild West history? Let us know your thoughts. Top 3. Annie Oakley, the sharpshooter. Annie Oakley, born in 1860, is one of the most iconic figures in Wild West history, known for her deadly accuracy and her trailblazing role as a sharpshooter. From a young age, Annie honed her skills in marksmanship, shooting to help her family survive. At just 15, she famously won a shooting contest against Frank E. Butler, a professional marksman, which launched her into the world of performance shooting. Her big break came when she joined Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, where she captivated audiences with her ability to hit targets in midair and shoot the cork off a bottle from a distance. Annie's performance wasn't just about spectacle. It was about proving women could be just as skilled as men in a male-dominated world. In one legendary feat, Annie shot a dime tossed into the air, splitting it cleanly in two. Another time, she shot the ashes off a cigarette held by her husband, Frank Butler. These feats made her a national sensation, earning her the title of the highest-paid performer in the Wild West. Despite facing skepticism, she showed the world that a woman could excel in a traditionally masculine world of sharpshooting. Annie Oakley didn't just perform for the crowds. She became a symbol of empowerment, using her fame to support causes such as World War I and women's rights. Her legacy as one of the greatest sharpshooters in history remains unchallenged today. Top 4. Big Nose Kate, the Wild Companion. Big Nose Kate, born Mary Catherine Haroni, was not just the companion of Doc Holliday. She was a force to be reckoned with in her own right. Known for her sharp wit, bold personality, and survival instincts, Kate was a woman who thrived in a world dominated by criminals and gunslingers. Her journey through the Wild West was far from conventional. Kate's relationship with Doc Holliday, the infamous gambler and gunfighter, cemented her place in Wild West history, but her story goes far beyond being just his partner. She was known to be a quick-tempered and fearless woman who wasn't afraid to fight alongside Doc or hold her own in dangerous situations. Throughout their tumultuous relationship, she proved time and again that she could handle whatever the harsh frontier threw at her. While Doc Holliday was notorious for his violent lifestyle, Big Nose Kate was equally resilient, often involved in the rowdy saloon culture, yet maintaining a tough, independent streak. She survived the chaos of the OK Corral shootout, as well as the numerous challenges of living alongside one of the West's most feared figures. Kate's story, though often overshadowed by Doc's, is a tale of survival and rebellion, showing that women in the Old West could be just as wild and dangerous as the men they stood beside. Despite her colorful past, Big Nose Kate became an unforgettable figure, one who never backed down, no matter the cost. Top 5. Mary Fields, the tough pioneer. Mary Fields, also known as Stagecoach Mary, was a true testament to grit and resilience in the Wild West. Born into slavery, Mary earned her freedom and carved a name for herself as one of the first African-American women to work for the U.S. Postal Service. But her journey didn't stop there. Mary was a woman who not only survived, but thrived in a world that was harsh, unforgiving, and dominated by men. Mary was known for her toughness and fearlessness, qualities that earned her the respect of even the most hardened frontiersmen. As a stagecoach driver, she was tasked with carrying mail through dangerous and often unpredictable terrain, facing threats from bandits and wild animals alike. Mary didn't back down from any challenge. She was quick with a gun and wasn't afraid to stand her ground when things got rough. In a world where women were often relegated to the background, Mary Fields was a trailblazer, a woman who defied expectations and refused to let anything stand in her way. Her legendary status grew not just from her tough job, but also from her larger-than-life personality. She was known for her wild spirit and her willingness to face whatever dangers came her way. Her story is a reminder that strength knows no gender, and that sometimes the toughest pioneers aren't the ones we expect, but the ones who are willing to face the wilderness head-on. The women of the Wild West weren't just figures in the background of history. They were powerhouses, survivors, and leaders in their own right. From ruthless outlaws like Belle Starr to the indomitable spirit of Calamity Jane, each woman we've explored left a mark on the frontier, proving that the Wild West wasn't just shaped by men. These women challenged expectations, defied the law, and showed the world that danger had no gender. They survived in a brutal world, and in many cases, they thrived. And it's their stories that continue to captivate us, even today. At Beyond the Old West, we uncover the untold stories of the past, shedding light on the incredible lives of these fierce women who lived, fought, and made history in one of the toughest places on Earth. Stay tuned for more stories from the frontier. Because the Wild West was wild, and it was full of women who were just as dangerous, strong, and unforgettable as any man.